There is a horrifying realization that every survivor of narcissistic abuse eventually has to face. It is a chilling realization that even during your most intimate physical moments together, you were completely alone in the presence of that narcissist. You thought you were sharing a deep romantic connection, but the narc was treating the experience like a thief breaking into an unlocked house. They were not there to give you love. They were there to steal your secrets. During intimacy, a narcissist is hyper aware. They notice tiny invisible details about your body, reactions, and your desperate hunger for their affection, approval, and acceptance. They watch your face not to see if you're happy, but to measure exactly how much power they have over your mind and your spirit. It is predatory, and that's why we have to talk about it. I'm Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. Today, we are talking about 10 things a narcissist secretly notices during sex that even you do not know. Number one, they notice if your eyes are feeding their God complex, that false self. When a healthy couple looks into each other's eyes during intimacy, they are looking for a soul connection. They want to feel love. But a narcissist is not looking at your soul, they are looking for their own reflection. They're scanning your face to see if you look impressed. They want to see absolute adoration, submission, or awe. They do not want to see a partner, they want to see a fan. They use your facial expressions as a mirror to confirm their own God complex, which means you are just a toy they're using to pleasure themselves, not only physically, but psychologically as well. The sounds that you make, the expressions on your face, it's all about how great they are at sex. They want you to look at them like they are the greatest lover you have ever had. If you look at them with normal human love, it's not enough. They notice exactly how much worship is in your eyes, and they use that worship to feed their massive ego. Two, they notice your physical insecurities to weaponize them later. Intimacy requires you to take off your armor. But when you drop your defenses with a narcissist, you are handing a loaded gun to someone who secretly wants to destroy you. You, of course, do that unknowingly, unconsciously. During sex, they notice everything you try to hide or you're a bit insecure about. If you pull the blanket up over your stomach, if you want the lights turned off, or if you seem shy about a certain part of your body, they file that information away in a dark folder in their mind. In the beginning, they might make you feel comfortable, but later on, definitely guaranteed they'll shame you using that info. They're silently studying exactly what makes you feel insecure. They do not do this to comfort you. They do this so they know exactly where to aim their insults during your next big argument. Weeks later, they will make a cruel joke about that exact body part, proving they were studying your pain the whole damn time. Number three, they notice exactly how easily you will drop your boundaries. For a narcissist, the bedroom is the ultimate testing ground for your obedience. During intimacy, they will often suggest something you are uncomfortable with, or they will push a physical boundary just a tiny bit to see what happens. They're not doing this out of wild passion. They're running a calculated test on your compliance. They notice the exact moment you give up. They notice when you sigh, drop your boundary, and say, okay, just to keep peace and avoid a fight. When they see that you are willing to sacrifice your own comfort just to keep them happy in bed, it tells them anything and everything they need to know. It tells them exactly how easily they can manipulate and control you outside the bedroom. Which brings us to number four. They notice when you emotionally check out, and of course they prefer it. When the emotional abuse in the relationship gets really bad, your brain does something called checking out, dissociation. To survive the intimacy, you learn how to mentally leave your body. You stare at the ceiling, you go numb, and you just wait for it to be over. If a normal loving partner noticed that you were completely blank and staring at the ceiling, they would immediately stop. They would ask, are you okay? Do you want me to stop? But the narcissist absolutely notices that you are acting like a ghost, and they keep going anyway. In fact, they actually prefer it when you check out. When you go numb, you stop having needs, you stop having emotions, you become an object. And to a narcissist, an object is much easier to use than a real human being. Number 5, they notice if you are faking pleasure just to keep them happy. Survivors often fake their reactions in the bedroom just to get the whole thing over with. You perform, you smile, and you act like everything is great because you know that if you do not, the narcissist will throw a massive tantrum. Here is the chilling truth. They usually know when you are faking it. They are highly observant, but they do not care about your actual genuine pleasure. Seeing you put on a fake performance just to stroke their ego gives them a massive power trip. It proves to them that they have trained you well. They love the fact that you are willing to abandon your own reality and put on a theatrical show just to serve their needs. Number 6, they notice your desperation for connection so they can withhold it. The moments right after intimacy are when you are the most open and vulnerable. This is when normal couples cuddle, talk quietly, and bond. But a narcissist notices your deep hunger for this connection, and they purposely starve you. The exact moment they see that you are craving a hug, a sweet word, or some basic aftercare, they will abruptly roll over. They will grab their phone and start scrolling. They will get up and go to the bathroom and close the door. They notice your desperation, and they use it to maintain all the power by completely withdrawing. They take away their affection the second it is over. They leave you feeling empty, confused, and desperately chasing them for scraps of love. Number 7, they notice your fantasy just to steal them for the next target. When you finally trust them enough to open up and share what you really like, they're not listening because they want to please you. They are listening because they are stealing your playbook. Narcissists have no original identity. They mirror the people around them. So when you tell them your specific desires, your romantic fantasies, or the special words you like to hear, they're memorizing them. They're copying your moves so they can paste them onto their next victim. When they eventually discard you, they will use everything you taught them to impress their new supply. They notice your deep desires and they steal them to make themselves look like a master lover to the next person in line. Number 8, they notice the exact moment you feel degraded. Malignant narcissists do not get off on romance. They get off on power. Sometimes during intimacy, they will do something slightly degrading. They will use a harsh word, handle you a little too roughly, or treat you with a sudden lack of respect. When this happens, they're not lost in the moment. They are closely watching your face. They're scanning your micro expressions to see if your spirit broke just a little bit. Seeing you feel small, confused, or ashamed gives them a massive rush of superiority. They love pushing you down because making you feel like dirt is the only way they can feel like a giant. Number 9, they notice themselves instead of you, the actor in a movie syndrome. When you're trying to connect with them, they're completely disconnected from you because they are too busy directing and starring in a movie inside their own head. They're hyper aware of their own performance. They notice how their muscles look. They notice what angle they are positioned at. They notice how their voice sounds. They are treating the intimacy like a scene in an adult film, and they're obsessed with making sure they look like the P-star. You could easily be replaced by a mannequin, and they would barely notice the difference because the entire experience is just a mirror they're using to admire themselves. Number 10, they notice your post-sex vulnerability to drop a cold discard. A narcissist knows exactly how human biology works. They know that right after intimacy, your brain is flooded with oxytocin, the bonding hormone. They know your guard is completely down and your heart is wide open. They notice this open window and they use it to drop a sniper shot right into your piece. While you are lying there feeling close to them, they will suddenly drop a cold, subtle insult. They will casually bring up their ex-partner, or they will start a random, confusing argument about a household chore. They love attacking you when you are completely emotionally naked. It causes maximum psychological damage, and it immediately puts them back in the position of control. So when you realize what was actually happening, In the bedroom, it can make you feel deeply violated. You realize that the person you were giving your body to was acting like a spy, a thief, and a dictator all at once. But I need you to hear this. Their cold, calculating behavior has absolutely nothing to do with your worth, beauty, or your ability to be loved. They behave this way because they are empty. They are hollow machines that have to constantly steal energy from beautiful, empathetic people just to survive. You did nothing wrong by trusting them. You simply gave a beautiful gift to someone who did not have the soul required to appreciate it. Now that you know the truth, you can take your power back. Lock the door. Never give them access to your body, heart, or your mind ever again. And with that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.